Alright, today I'm kind of winging it. I said in an earlier video I was going to do this one, so I'm just going to do it. It's about having garbage options, is what I call it. So, in the last 4 years, since my husband tried to kill me for a truck and a camper, glad I was worth so much. I've tried dating. I've even tried making friends, even like with men, and I don't get it. It's just garbage. Everything out there in my age category is just garbage, and I will not lower my bar of standards. I'm sorry, I'd rather starve to death and die as if I'm in a concentration camp in Germany before I'm gonna lower my standards to this level. And there's a video coming up on that because as of August 1st, I started. I could be half dead by the time you actually see the video, so it may be too late for anybody to do anything about it. But hey, that's life. That's just the way it goes. Because there's other topics I want to cover first, just in case I do melt away and die. And by the time you see that, I may be either living in my vehicle or sitting on a street corner with two cats. I'm trying to just find water. I don't know. You never know. So people could look at me as the garbage option, but the truth of the matter is, I wouldn't lower my standards. Because it doesn't appear that there is any standards. It's just a free for all Sodom and Gomorrah out there. And I want someone, if I'm going to bring someone in my life, and I'm going to work really hard and invest in them, and I'm not just talking about money and the material things like the home and the vehicles and the stuff we have, but my time. I mean, by the time you're done with all that, you're exhausted, but you find extra energy for that person to invest in other projects with them, doing things with them, you know, spending quality time together and not being exhausted, being able to exchange that energy and being really excited to be with each other, even if it's just to sit down at the end of the day and watch a movie, just to be excited to be holding each other or by each other's side or holding hands or whatever it is. Um, I want somebody who's got one an intellect. If I can't hold a decent conversation with you, and it doesn't have to be a debate, we can spar a little, we don't have to agree on everything, but to have kind of a mental intellect where I can see another perspective or we can agree to disagree or, just share ideas, that's fabulous. I love doing that with people, and especially with my significant other would be like the best thing ever. And somebody who wants a monogamous relationship, I mean, I was a previous sex addict. I mean, I can be kinky. You don't have to go outside the realm to be um, creative. I mean, I can be extremely creative, but then again, I have my side where I just want that bit of romance and it to feel like making love, not wild, crazy sex. So there's being able to find a healthy balance in that as well. Um, I did find that online dating was a massive joke. Okay, all you got is sex addicts, pigs, dick pics, naked pics. It's like Pornville. Okay, for regular amateurs. I'm like, wait a second, no, no. Then again, I met my second husband who tried to kill me on a dating site, so probably wasn't even worth investing in back then. So I really should have thought about that. And then there's no really other place to meet them. Like, I've gone to church. Oh gosh. When you see my church video, which is coming up hopefully within the next month, yeah, I don't think I'd ever marry a guy who goes to church and is a Christian. I wanted to. I wanted to be able to sit down and read the Bible with somebody. So what did I do? I said, okay, that's never going to happen. I'm not going to sit around and wait for some guy to sit with me so we can read the Bible together and actually discuss it intellectually. So I'm just making videos and reading the Bible by myself with you. And maybe somebody will discuss it with me and maybe they won't. I don't know. But I'm still going to do it. I'm not stalling my life waiting for another human being actually see my value and my worth and find me worth being with. Now, keep in mind, this does not mean I don't have any options. I get a plethora of men that are interested in me in all kinds of different social media venues. However, it does not mean that they're not of quality men. There has to be a chemistry. There is a certain look, there is a certain vibe that I need to get from somebody. It doesn't mean he has to be the best looking guy in the world, but I require you take care of yourself a little bit. You don't have to have the perfect body, but I mean, within limitations. I want someone who's going to take care of themselves because it shows they can also help take care of me. And since I take care of myself, I show I can take care of them. So it does say a lot about you, and are you lazy? Are you, 'cause I can't be with somebody who's lazy. Not all the time. Once in a while, I want to have a lazy day, yeah, just like everybody else. But I want somebody with some ambition and some goals. And I don't care if you're 60, 70 years old. Show me that retirement is more than just sitting around doing nothing. I may never retire. I want to keep going. I want to keep learning. I want to keep growing. I want to keep investing in myself and in the world till the day I die. So I need somebody who can meet those qualities as well. And you don't find it online dating, I'm telling you that much. Um, Speaking of garbage, when I started thinking about that, and I thought about all the options of the um, guys that I was meeting that were just every one of them was garbage. I'm sorry if any of those guys are watching this, but none of you treated me good. You know it. You know it. You don't want to admit it, but you know it. I was worth a lot more than what you gave. Anyway, and I was cheated on by every one of them. So maybe to them I'm the garbage option because I'm not some hootenanny whore. I don't know. Whatever. Um, and I did a post on Facebook too about can a prostitute make a good wife? And I was shocked at the over 50 some replies that only two or three people even had any morals. So, I personally, if I was a guy, I'd be like, well, what kind of diseases does she bring with her? She's been a prostitute. She'll have sex with anybody who gives her money. Um, that's pretty low standards. And then what kind of diseases? Hepatitis, STDs, I mean, things like that you get, HIV, that turns into AIDS, that you get from this stuff. And somebody who is willing to say, I'll just sell my body and make good money off of it, just, I mean, to me, their level of standards are not high. And I was shocked to see how many people would think that a prostitute would make a good wife. And I'm like, okay, so all their level of standards are pretty low. Now, I kind of get it. I mean, if you were somebody who was forced into sex slavery or forced into doing it, and you want a reformed life and you somehow find a way to get out, more power to you. You probably would make an amazing wife. Okay, I'm talking about the women who volunteer themselves to go into this just for money. Okay, there are so many other ways to make money than to do that. That I just, I don't know. If I was a guy, I don't think I could marry a prostitute. I don't. I would be like, how many other hands have touched her? How many other things have been in this crotch? How many other things has she put in her mouth? Just, I'd be leery. I want somebody a little more seeing their worth and self-respect, because otherwise they're not going to see that in me. I'm reciprocity is really important. I'm a reciprocal person. You're going to get what you give. And, and I'm hoping to get what I give, so to speak. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a proper way to do things. But anyway, let's talk about garbage for a moment. It made me think of my ex-husband. So, me and my second husband were having a rough go of the marriage. We were talking. I had mentioned divorce a couple of times. And then I thought, okay, let's spice up the sex life. I used to have a really spicy sex life before I met him, and he was very straight vanilla, same way, every time, same amount of time. And I'm not saying, I mean, he made me come every time. He was amazing at what he did, and it didn't take long. But I thought maybe he's getting bored with it, so let's see if he can go outside the box. Well, he seemed a little uncomfortable with that. I invested like $3,000 in sex toys. And he seemed uncomfortable with being able to use them, so I tried weaning him into it, and coaching him, and that didn't work. Apparently, he did have to have a few prostitutes or whatever teach him, because one day we did, towards the very end, use the stuff, and I'm like, huh, you've been training. Somebody's taught you, how to do this. And of course, he wouldn't admit it or anything, but I wasn't stupid. I had the cameras. I saw it all. I knew already before that point. I was very hopeful, though, to have my husband back. I did love him with every ounce of my being. I still think he was my twin flame, in all honesty, but he tried to kill me. How do you ever come back from that? I mean, had he succeeded, I'd be dead. So I guess he can't have me back, ever. I mean, if he came to his senses, which will never happen unless he was in prison, and I think he's kind of gay. I think he has gay tendencies, so he'd probably like prison. I don't know too much, so I wouldn't want him when he gets out. Okay, I digress. Let's go back. So, anyway, the sex toys. So before I went to the shelter, knowing I was probably going to go to the shelter that day, I had packed up all the sex toys and hid them in my vehicle. I know he saw some of them because there were a couple bags moved before I left. And I wasn't sure I was going to leave, but then last minute it was like, I've got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. This is very dangerous. And so I got out, and I had all these sex toys in my vehicle for the longest time. And I kept driving around with them, and I realized if I ever get pulled over for speeding or whatever, they're going to find all these sex toys in my vehicle. Like some kind of traveling prostitute, Oh my gosh, I just know, not with what I was going through at the time, did I want to have to deal with that. So where I had worked at the time, we had this huge dumpster, and every other week they came and emptied it. I didn't know if it was the week to empty it or not, but I took them all and I put them in there, and my boss goes, what did you all put in there? And I said, well, they're sex toys. And he's like, you're kidding me. No, we need to get rid of them. And so then he knew they were out there, and he would laugh at me, and little did I know, my boss ended up knowing my husband. Well, they hadn't met previously, but his whore, main girl that he was screwing, ended up meeting one of my coworkers, who then got into my boss, and he was having a midlife crisis, so then she was having free sex with him to do stuff in my office. That's how desperate these people were to kill me. I mean, I was worth almost $500,000. So this whore was screwing all these people to get to the people she needed to, and these were all older men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, so, oh yeah, they're going to take a 20-year-old, no problem, free sex, this is awesome, and she's a trained prostitute, so this is great. Yeah, it didn't take much for her to convince them, but anyway, back to the sex toys. She had used them, she wanted them back, mind you, and my coworker, these two guys who had had sex with her and some of her college friends, knew the toys were out there. Now keep in mind, it was in the winter, and so during the evening they would freeze, and there was water. There was like layers of water at the bottom of this, and I had put it in pretty fresh, so they were right towards the bottom. During the day it would get so hot, the water would melt, and they'd be swimming in this swampy, nasty water. Okay, and then they'd freeze at night. Every day I would go check the dumpster to see if the toys were still in there. Then I ended up, one night I was having, this was like 5-6 days in, and I thought, okay, they've got to be coming to empty it in the next day or two. And I was having a phone conversation about splitting stuff, because I had filed for divorce already with my ex, and it sounded like he was outside. And I heard him slam the trunk, and I said, where are you? And he goes, well, I had to go to the pet store and get dog food. I go, why? I ordered it. I mean, I had a constant order that always came to the house. He goes, well, because of the weather, they couldn't deliver it. So I had to go get some. And it was a stormy night. It wasn't, a pleasant evening. I was like, okay, well, needless to say, I did look up the order, and I'm like, no, it was delivered. He didn't need dog food. So then I got thinking, did these guys I work with tell him about the sex toys, or tell the girl? And I was things were piecing together at the time. And I didn't have all the ducks in a row exactly yet, but it was coming together. And so the next day I went to work, I checked the dumpster, and the only things that were in there is what was frozen yet in the ice. There were some things frozen in the ice, they must not have been able to get out. Him and his prostitute twat 20-year-old girlfriend, my ex is 47, midlife crisis again, went out there in a winter storm, hopped in the dumpster, and dug out sex toys. When I tell you, prostitutes, some of them do not have very high standards, that's what I'm thinking about. Who is going to take that? I don't care how much you disinfect that thing. You are putting bacteria in your hoo-ha. Okay? Who's going to use that crap? Oh my gosh. And then the fact that who else used it? It's like, I'm sorry, but recycled sex toys? Seriously? No way. No way. You have hit a whole new level of garbage, people. Quite literally. Garbage dumpster diving for sex toys. Not even kidding. True story. From the same person who was trying to kill me. Of course, they were so looped up on drugs. Go figure. You want to take meth? That right there is what meth heads do. That right there is your future. Dumpster diving for sex toys. Yay. And, you know, here's the thing is they were eBay whores too. They would, like, go to, like, garage sales and Goodwill and buy stuff on eBay. Or buy stuff and sell it on eBay. Resell it. I'm wondering if anybody bought any sex toys on eBay. Oh, so who buys used sex toys? After that, it makes you even wonder if you ever want to have sex with another human being again. Okay? I'm sorry, people, but that's disgusting. It takes disgusting to a whole new level. And you wonder why we have so many diseases out there. So we got a bunch of meth heads out there. Dumpster diving for sex toys. In swampy, yucky water. They don't clean those dumpsters, people. They don't take them to the car wash and rinse them out really good and go, we better make sure that whatever they're putting their garbage in is nice and clean. They don't do that, sweetheart. I don't know how many years that damn dumpster sat there. And then the beauty of it is, we shared the dumpster with the Department of Justice next door. That threw their stuff, evidence and stuff when it was done, out in that dumpster. So there was, God knows what got thrown in that dumpster that could have leaked into that crappy water. I don't even want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Okay. But overall, what did I find for options? I found nobody that could hold an intellectual conversation with me. Scammers galore. And the dumpster diving, and I came to the conclusion everyone's just lost their mind. That there is nobody left out there. Then even the friend with benefits that I recently took on, which was a neighbor, just to help him through his divorce, mind you, because he was determined he was getting a divorce. Then all of a sudden turns around and starts having sex with his wife, and I'm like, wait, if you're not getting a divorce, I'm not getting in the middle of this. If you're trying to reconcile, you should focus on that. Not having friends with benefits, dude. Well, then he stopped doing that. That or he's lying. I don't know. Probably lying, because everybody does now. It's like a new hobby. Everyone's take it up. And, you know, even that person is like running around, but I'm like, he needs to sow his oats anyway. But, I mean, he can be a total dickhead about it. And I'm just like, you know what, you can't even be a nice person. I'm not going to help you through this. So even my standards of trying to even just have a friends with benefit out of somebody who I thought was a decent human being turned out to be a total jackass. Forgive my language. It was. And unless he was drunk, he wasn't nice. So he's probably the only person I've ever known that actually grew a personality and turned nice as they drank. Most, it's the polar opposite. I'm like, oh gosh, the world's lost their mind. Everybody's gone crazy. Even I won't do friends with benefits anymore, or any of that. I am, as of today, as of August 1st, I should say. You'll see this later. As of August 1st, um, celibate. Not even gonna masturbate. None of it, unless God has the perfect person for me. And we'll probably have to get married first. I don't know that I'll ever get married again because the whole life insurance thing. Unless it can be guaranteed that this person, when I die, gets no money, even through life insurance. Nobody gets anything off of my life when I die. So if you're gonna marry me, prepare to be empty-handed when I die, okay? Because you ain't getting shit. I'm sorry. Oh Lord, thank you for letting me vent. Thank you for just letting me get that out there. I've been holding on to that for so long. There is something from the Bible I found that was noteworthy for this occasion. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 22. And it says, that in reference to your former manner of life, you lay aside the old self, which is being corrupted in accordance with the lusts of deceit. Is that not totally appropriate? It would appear this is daily. We need to read this again. That, in reference to your former manner of life, you lay aside the old self, which is being corrupted in accordance with the lusts of deceit. Yep, that's kind of fitting, so I'm putting the old self behind, and if God has a miracle man out there for me, may he find me. I'm not holding my breath. And I'm not dumpster diving for sex toys. Okay? And I'm not going to marry a prostitute either. You guys want to do that, you just... More power to you. I don't belong here. Alright. On that note, love you. Bye.